يا منزل الآيات والفرقان بيني وبينك حرمة القرآن.
But there is a general understanding that many of the scholars or the majority of them use for these words. So I'm going to start with al-nafsu wal-ruhu wal-aql. The nafs, which is what we're talking about, tazkiyatun nafs, and the ruh, the soul, and the aql, which is the intellect. And I'm going to start with a quote from Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, in which he talks about whether or not the intellect is in the brain or the heart. And is the intellect in the brain or the heart? The first thing that he says before everything else is that you need to understand the word qalb. The word qalb, it has two meanings. This is what makes it hard. The word qalb has two meanings. One of them is the meaning which is found in the hadith, ala inna fil jasadi mudgha. إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. There is a piece of flesh found on the left hand side of the body. This is the heart. And this piece of flesh is the word that we most commonly associate with the heart. But sometimes the word heart, he said, وَقَدْ يُرَادُ بِالْقَلْبِ بَاطِنُ الْإِنسَانِ مُطْلَقًا. Sometimes you use the word qalb to mean the inside of a person completely, the whole inside of a person. This is not usual. Mostly when we say qalb, we mean the piece of flesh in your body. But sometimes the word qalb is used for the whole of the inside of a person. He said, وَلِهَذَا قِيلَ, for this reason it was said, إِنَّ الْعَقْلَ فِي الدِّمَاغِ كما يقوله كثير من الأطباء ونقل ذلك عن الإمام أحمد ويقول طائفة من أصحابه إن أصل العقل في القلب فإذا كمل انتهى إلى الدماغ. He said, for this reason, there were many doctors who said that your intellect is in your mind. And this is narrated from Imam Ahmad rahimahullah ta'ala. But a large group of his companions, they said that the origin of your intellect and your reasoning is your heart. And it is only completed in your mind. So when the doctor sees your mind working, he's seeing the completion of a process that began where? In your heart. Listen to how Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala reconciles between all of these opinions and brings you one single, easy to understand concept. He said, وَالتَّحْقِيقُ أَنَّ الرُّوحَ الَّتِي هِيَ النَّفْسِ لَهَا تَعَلُّقٌ بِهَذَا وَهَذَا. He said, the tahqiq, if we really get down to the reality of it, is that the soul, which is the nafs. Now what did we take from this? That Shaykh al-Islam, for him, al-ruh wal-nafs bima'na wahid. One meaning. The ruh and the nafs are the same thing. The nafs is the ruh and the ruh is the nafs. And this is connected to the mind and the heart, both of them. And what is described as al-aqlu يَتَعَلَّقُ بِهَذَا وَهَذَا. It's connected to both. Your intellect is connected to your mind and it's connected to your heart. How? He said, لكن مبدأ الفكر والنظر في الدماغ ومبدأ الإرادة في القلب. He said that the beginning of your thought, it takes place in the mind, but your desire and will to do something comes from your heart. والعقل يراد به العلم ويراد به العمل فالعلم والعمل الاختياري أصله الإرادة وأصل الإرادة في القلب. He said the word reasoning, al-aql, sometimes we use it to refer to what you're thinking about, your knowledge, and sometimes we use it to refer to your actions as well. And both knowledge and action come from your will, and your will comes from your heart. He said, ويبتدئ ذلك من الدماغ وآثاره صاعدة إلى الدماغ فمنه المبتدأ وإليه الانتهاء وكلا القولين له وجه صحيح. He said that the beginning of reasoning takes place in your mind, and the beginning of your desire to do something takes place in your heart. And the effect of what you decide to do can be seen in the mind. This is amazing that he said this before anyone scanned anyone's brain and before anyone, that the result of your desire that you choose with your heart is seen in your mind. So, both of them have a role to play in what is described as the aql, the intellect. In other words, the ruh, the soul, which is the nafs, has a connection to both of them. In some of his writings, he said that the ruh is present in the whole body, not only in the heart. The whole body has a part of the ruh, and it's not only in the heart itself. Rather, the whole body, it goes around the entire body. And so there is an effect of it on what you think and an effect on it on what you feel. And all of this is connected to the same concept. So what about the concept of the insan then? Generally speaking, the scholars, they say the word insan is only used for the body and soul together. al-ruh wal-badanu ma'an, together. The body and the soul together. This is when you call it insan. And generally, when it is a nafs by itself, it's called a nafs or a ruh, or a soul. And when it is a body and soul together, it's called insan. It's called a person. So by understanding this, we understood that most of the time, the word nafs is used for the soul, most of the time. But sometimes even the word nafs could be used for the insan, the body and soul together. It could be. Because sometimes, for example, even in the Qur'an, the word anfusukum many times refers to the soul, but often it also can refer to the body and the soul together, the person as a whole. And there is a lot of discussion about this, and we're not going to go too far down the proverbial rabbit hole, otherwise it goes on for a very, very, very long time. And part of this is the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. They ask you about the soul, say that the soul is from the matters of my Lord, and we've only been given a small amount of knowledge on this topic. And so in general, what I want you to take from this is, usually when we talk about the nafs, we are talking about the soul. That is most of the time. We're talking about the ruh. However, sometimes we might talk about the nafs and refer to the whole person. In general, when we talk about the ruh or the nafs, it involves the mind and the heart and the whole body together. It's not something that someone says, for example, are we talking about purifying the heart? We are talking about purifying the heart, but not only purifying the heart, because purifying the soul is not only from the heart. In fact, this can lead us to our first principle that we said we would talk about today. And that is that purifying the soul is connected to all of the branches of Iman.